First and foremost, before we get started, I like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rekah Kwadash, and above ourselves, great millstone, while unto truth, and also to those elect that scattered abroad. I like to say, Shalom, and come back here today with another great, powerful lesson through the spirit and the power of Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. And the type D lesson is any given day. So I like to say Shalom to all our listeners and learners. Hope to sweep you today and guide you back in the path of righteousness and back to your true power, which in fact is Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. So before we start today's lesson, I have a quick news article here by the Independence. And it reads, it said Russian warship headed to Caribbean for drills as tension rise over Ukraine, say U.S. officials say. Let's get a little bit more. It says here, it said the U.S. has been tracking Russian warships and aircraft that are expected to arrive in the Caribbean for a military exercise in the coming weeks. So in a Russian show of force as tensions rise over Western military support for Ukraine, U.S. official said Wednesday. The ship also are expected possibly to make port calls in Venezuela and Cuba as Russia established a Western Hemisphere military presence that the senior Biden administration official said was noticeable but not concerning. The exercise, which will be monitored by the U.S. military, will involve a handful of Russian ships and support vessels, the two officials said it's not the first time Russia has sent its ships to the Caribbean. This exercise, however, is taking place as Russian President Vladimir Putin has suggested that Moscow could take asymmetrical steps elsewhere in the world in response to President Joe Biden's decision to allow Ukraine to use U.S. provided weapons to strike inside Russia to protect Kyiv, Ukraine, second largest city. So one thing about it is that we know that right here, war tensions is constantly rising. So any given day, this thing could go pop off. Things could go nuclear. We constantly warning you about these things left and right. So we already seeing right here the Russian warship is headed into Caribbean, right in America's backyard. So we already know that America's have military bases in everyone else country, and always nearby someone's borders. And one thing about it, Putin is making moves, in retaliation of what Biden just did. Let's get this little news article right quick. Just a very quick lesson. This is what he just did just a couple of days ago right here. Said Biden allows Ukraine to hit some targets in Russia with U.S. weapons. So you already know. So you seeing what Biden is doing. So we seeing what, nations are rising. We seeing war tensions is rising. What rumors of war, all sorts of things is just constantly going on left and right. That's why I titled the day lesson, any given day. Because, hey, things can pop out at any given day or any given time. It's just a matter of time. So we seeing right here, once again, Biden's allows Ukraine to hit some targets in Russia with U.S. weapons. And also we knowing that Russia is constantly warning NATO and the West about constantly getting involved, constantly getting too close to their borders. So now Russia is constantly getting ready to have a military drill right in their own backyard. We already know that they are allies, I think, with Russia's allied with Cuba, and also they're allies with I think Venezuela also, if I'm not mistaken. So we're seeing that these things are constantly rising left and right. And one thing about it, we already knowing that, World War III is inedible. It is going to happen. And one thing about it, we got to be always watching, always what praying. One thing about it, the Lord said, stay on your watch, watching. Because one thing about it, these things will come upon us, you know what I'm saying, just like a thief in the night. So now, let's get a quick precept before we start. I have one video, but we're going to get a quick precept right quick. Let's go here. So this is where we at right here. Revelation chapter 11 and verse 14. It said, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe come quickly. And one thing about it, the third woe is what? World War III, the wars to end all war. So that's what it's everything. It's just constantly lining up left and right. We're seeing that these war drums are beating. We're seeing that tension is constantly rising. We're seeing that America is what? Constantly poking the bear. So let's read this once again. Revelation chapter 11 and verse 14 said, the second woe is past, World War II, and the third woe come quickly, and woe go into destruction. You know, World War III. It's right here. It already has begun. It has not grown full circle just yet. So we know that we're very close. We're seeing that these things are constantly picking up. We're seeing that every day is something going down. One thing about it is that, you know, a lot of our people still are not considered the signs of the time, and we're here. It's right in front of our face any given day. So the title of the day lesson, once again, is any given day. So let's start this one quick video. After that video, we'll start the lesson, and I hope that you will get edified.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has issued a new ominous warning to the United States and to NATO about nuclear weapons and World War III. I'm going to be sharing with you the video footage and the articles so you can see it for yourself, but take a look at this quote that came out just a little while ago today. Putin also suggested on Wednesday today that he may soon deploy conventional missiles to areas capable of striking the United States and its allies in retaliation for Western nations sending Ukraine weapons that can be used to strike targets in Russia. And this is all surrounding what has unfolded over the last 48 hours, as Russia is saying that the United States has made a fatal miscalculation in Ukraine. And this comes as Ukraine has struck Russia with U.S.-made missiles. Now, I reported it to you as soon as it came out that it was confirmed that it was a U.S. missile that has hit Russia, this coming from Ukraine, and we had heard Russia say that any nation that provides these long-range missiles to Ukraine, that they would be held accountable. And this is a major policy shift from President Joe Biden and from NATO, as since the war began over the last 2 years, there have been major warnings from the United States to Ukraine not to use U.S.-made missiles, as this could escalate the tensions between NATO and Russia and lead to World War III. And as I mentioned, that has all shifted. And take a look at how quickly things have changed in the last 48 hours. Now, NATO is developing a plan to transfer troops in case war with Russia does take place. Russia saying if you defend Ukraine, do not be surprised if you are hit. Moscow says.
So we're seeing that we're very close. You know, these tensions are constantly rising left and right. We're seeing that we're here. So let's start today's lesson. Let's go here to Ecclesiastes, a very quick lesson through the Spirit. And once again, I hope that you will get edified. Let's go here to Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and verse 1. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, Salakia. One moment. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 1 said, to everything there is a season and a time, to every purpose under the sun, under heaven, Salaki. So, you know, right now, it's a season, it's a time, for everything. We already know that it's a time for war. We seeing that it's in the air, great tribulation, persecution, death, and destruction. So let's read this once again. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 1, to everything there is a season and a time, to every purpose under the heavens. So that's where we at, we're in that season, we seeing that, that we're getting closer and closer. Things are constantly are picking up. Things are constantly rising. We're seeing that, these prophecies are lining up. We're seeing this left and right. So let's drop down to verse right here, and also the seasons and the times we're here. Let's go ahead. Let's drop down to verse 8. Let's get this right quick. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 8 say, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. So right now we're in wartime. So we're seeing right now, it constantly telling you each and every day about World War III, telling you about war news each and every day. And also the prophet, we're constantly warning you left and right. The Lord, has set us up as watchmen to constantly warn you about these global events, constantly being the spokesperson for Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. So we seeing this right here. It's a time for what? For war. We seeing that it is in the air. And one thing about it, any given day. Let's read it once again. It said, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. So right now, there will be no peace until what? The great and glorious return of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. So it's a time for war right now, the last and final war, the wars to end all wars, the valley of Jehoshaphat. The Lord is gathering the nation. We're seeing that we're fastly approaching it right before our eyes. So let's go here to Jeremiah. Let's get this here in Jeremiah chapter 50. Jeremiah chapter 50, I just random scriptures. Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 9. And it reads, said, for lo, I will rise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. So we are very close to that time. So we already knowing, right now we're seeing that Russia warships, and also you already knowing that the warship contains those supersonic missiles, that can really knock America, will blow America away, you know what I'm saying, in 1 hour. I'm talking about these ICBM missiles. So we already knowing right now, these that things are getting very critical. It's time to get serious. It's time to seek the Lord, because right now, we seeing that this great multitude is constantly what is kindling over. You know what I'm saying? The Lord said in what I think it's Amos 9, and I think around 10 or 11 said, the eyes of the Lord is upon the sinful kingdom. So we seeing right here, that they get ready to take Babylon the Great out of America. We are very close to this time. We are very, very close. We're in some very serious time. We're in very serious time. That's why we constantly sound like a broken record. But these are the times that we're living in. Verse 10, it says, and the Chaldea shall be a spoil. All that spoiled her shall be satisfied, says the Lord, coming soon. Verse 11 says, because ye were glad, because ye were glad, because ye rejoice, O ye destroyers of my heritage, because ye have grown fat as the heifers at grass, and bellows as bulls. So one thing about it, we already know it's talking about America. America constantly, living fed off the hog right now, the most proud. But the Lord is getting ready to destroy this place. We're seeing things are constantly picking up. We're seeing that these nations are constantly rising. We read upon a great economic collapse. Also, we know that, that MOTB, it is almost here. The stage is set. Things are ready any given day. So, just like right now, a lot of people, still are going on with their daily lives, still going to work, coming home with their family. But guess what? Things are getting ready to change. This place is getting ready to be a third world country. This place is getting ready to be a war zone. Whether you believe it or not, whether you were here or whether you will for bear, it's getting ready to escalate. Let's go here. Don't mean to be rambling. Let's see here. Let's go here to 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, and we'll start up at verse 1. And it reads, said, but of the times and the season, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you, because we know perfectly well what time that we're living in, the times in the season, you know what I'm saying? What the war drums are beating, is what wartime, time for war. We see it right now. It's here. Verse 2 said, for yourself know perfectly that the day of the Lord cometh as a thief in the night. Verse 3 said, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So right now we're in peace and security. Right now a lot of people are unaware. A lot of people are constantly, trying to accomplish something in this a kingdom that is getting ready to be totally destroyed. But a lot of people right now, they are going to wake up to a nightmare any given day. All hell could break loose. Let's read this once again. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 3 said, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So right there, it's plain and simple. Hey man, we're so very close. Let's go here to Psalms chapter 27. Psalm chapter 27, and we'll start up at the top at verse 1. And it reads, said, a psalm of David. It says here, verse 1 said, the Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life, and whom shall I be afraid? Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua. Verse 2 said, when the wicked, even my enemies and my foes, came upon me to eat my flesh, they stumbled and fell. Verse 3 said, though an host shall encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Said, though war shall rise against me, in this will I be confident. Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua. So we already knowing that even though we seeing that these warships and these different nations constantly encamping around us, but one thing about it, we don't have any fear. We're gonna constantly trust and believe in Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua. The Lord said he will sustain us. He will provide for us in these times of trouble that's fast approaching. Jacob's trouble is at the door. We're fast approaching there. Let's go here to our last and final script. We close out here. Revelations chapter 1 and verse 3. Revelation chapter 1 and verse 3. We'll close out here. And it reads, blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. So right now, blessed is he that readeth, and keep these prophecies, to hold fast what you have. The same that endure, the same shall be saved. So we're seeing that the evils are growing all around us. We're seeing that, it's war drums are beating every day. Rumors of wars are all over the place. We're already seeing all these different things that's constantly happening left and right in the middle of the war. We're constantly watching. We're constantly, reporting. We constantly keeping not silent, warning you of all these things that constantly approaching us each and every day through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua. Let's read it one more time. We'll close out. It said Revelation chapter 1 and verse 3 said, blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. So the time is at hand. And one thing about it is we are very close. We're seeing that everything is lining up. We are constantly rejoicing. And one thing about it, we hoping and praying that we'll be part of the hopeful elect. And one thing about it, we got to put on the whole armor of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, because we know that things is getting ready to get very, very serious. Things are getting very perilous. We're coming upon an evil time. A time of trouble that we have never seen before. It's going to be a whole lot of unaliving. The body count is getting ready to be great. And one thing about it, the Lord is getting ready to return, set everything back into order. So the title of the day lesson, once again, is Any Given Day. So I like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rikah Kwadash. I like to say, Shalom. Shalom.